At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal. You know, a lot of our energy on this world is spent, trying to accumulate success. I think it's good that we find the nice things on this planet and find the highest version of ourselves, right? I think that's normal and that's natural, right? And then I say a lot of our energy goes toward finding like the perfect mate. Whether it's you looking for a lifelong partner or if you're looking for a husband or wife, a lot of energy is going toward this, right? But when I look back on my own life, when I look back on a lot of people that I know, I'm finding that a lot of times what we're really looking for is just peace. And we're using these other things to try to fill this void to reach this point of peace, right? But this is what I learned. You can't reach that point of true peace unless you heal from your past.
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
Now let's keep it 100, right? The far majority of people watching this video, not all, of course not all, but the far majority are experiencing some kind of trauma or have experienced some kind of trauma in their life, right? And what I mean is, let's look at the people that had childhood traumas, right? If you were in a single parent household, whether it be your single mom or single father, there's going to be some trauma associated with that, right? Because first off, you got to think about, here you are, you've had to live your youth without a parent. That alone is dealing with a lot. That alone is going to bring a whole nother, a whole level of events, right? But on the other hand, then you have to sit there and watch another parent, the parent that's active, go through certain things they wouldn't have if that other spouse was there, right? So it's almost like a double-edged sword, as far as information that you're soaking up to attach to, right? To call your truth. You know what I'm saying? Then you have some people that have trauma associated with money, believe it or not, right? You have some people that live their whole lives in certain financial, conditions or situations, and they can really never come out of it. I talked about it in a video I made. It's been a good while now, but I said, I remember when I snapped out of things, right? I said, when I was 16, 17 years old and had a small job, I said, and then I fast forwarded to the point where I had my first 6-figure year. I said, my savings account was the exact same amount. I said, that's a huge problem. That was some mentality that was attached to me, man. That was possibly some trauma that I had gone through when I went through hard times that just stuck with me. I had to reevaluate the situation and had to understand money. I had to come out of that thing, right? But for the most part, the most common signs of trauma that needs healing is definitely from relationships, right? I mean, a lot of us have gone through relationships and have been, cheated on, done wrong, whatever, you name it, some kind of horrific event that has scarred us, right? I can just look back over the number of years, man, of women that I've dated, before I became healed in that area. And man, I'm telling you, I hurt a whole lot of women just by me trying to find my peace in relationships when really I just wasn't healed enough to even be pursuing that. On the same token, man, I can think of a lot of women that I've approached, you know what I'm saying? That, even since I've been healed, I mean, beautiful people, man, that can't get past events. And I see it, brother. I've seen both sides of the fence. I've fallen victim to it, if you want to say that, and I've been, someone that caused hurt. But I'm telling you, brothers, I'm telling you, sisters, you cannot truly find that peace. You cannot truly find that place where we're trying to get to if you don't heal first. So how do you heal? This is just my opinion. This is how I healed, right? The first step is you have to swim in it. And when I say swim in it, I mean you have to completely submerge yourself in in the cause. You have to completely submerge yourself as a victim. Now the easiest example to point out, of this is relationships, of course. Men and women both. When they come out of bad relationships, when they've come out of bad, situations, they instantly run to YouTube, right? And you can find a plethora of channels that are talking about men talking about their experiences with women, women talking about their experiences with men, and the way that they should navigate going forward, whether it's leave all women alone, or whether it's I'll take man for all his money. There are forums for that. And what I'm saying is, if you want to heal, you should submerge yourself in that. You know what I'm saying? Because what you'll find out is you need that to heal. In other words, you need those forms. You need to be amongst those people to first understand that you aren't the only one going through it, right? And then just understand that it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You need to swim in that thing. Brothers, if you've been cheated on, you need to be on these channels where men are saying, you know what, man, I'm sick and tired of this. You need to be in these atmospheres where men and women are just venting. Because that's just calling a thing what it is. But like I say all the time, guys, you can't stay there. You should swim in it, but you can't stay there. Now the thing is, once you start swimming in this, once you step into this victimhood or whatever you want to call it, it's going to feel good at first. It's going to feel like you found that peace. But what you have to understand is you're really only just filling that void temporarily, right? Now, why I say you can't stay there is because if you stay there, you're only going to create more of it. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Even if you're a man that says, you know what, okay, I no longer want to entertain women. That's cool if a man thinks that. But the thing is, if you haven't healed from the cause of you going that way, then you going that way is still just going to bring more trauma. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about how a man goes forward. It's about a man releasing his past. Now, this next part of the healing process is where most people will get caught up. It's the hurdle that most people won't be able to jump, right? And the next part is forgiveness. And I'll tell you why forgiveness is so important. First off, by you forgiving, is you completely, bringing yourself out of the victim stage. You can't heal if you're going to be a victim the whole time, right? So the first thing you need to do is come out of that. What you have to do is forgive. What you have to do is call a thing what it is. If you went through trauma as a child, if you had an abusive parent, if you had, a father that was, doing whatever, call it what it is. Say, you know what, that's just something I experienced and I have to forgive to get past that, right? Now, for me, the easiest way to forgive is to understand that, for me to go through what I went through, the person that brought whatever, on me that they brought on me, I say, you know what, they had to be traumatized themselves, right? So I have to say, you know what makes it easy for me to forgive somebody? I say, you know what, they're just like me. Just like I passed my trauma on to other people, they were passing it on to me. And when I put everybody in this similar state, it's easy for me to forgive it, right? But I'll tell you what the main reason on forgiveness is. The main reason to forgive is because unless you forgive, you can't detach from a thing. In other words, if let's use man and woman. If a woman has you in the red and you haven't talked to this woman in years and she still has you mad at all women, you're still attached to that woman. There's no way in the world you can find peace if you're still attached to it. This person could be gone off, living their life, living a dream, and you're still attached to that trauma by not being able to forgive them. So just back up, man, and say, you know what, man, that person probably went through some trauma to bring that my way, and release it. Because you can't get past it unless you release it. You know what I'm talking about? I was just talking to somebody about 2 or 3 days ago about the Beautiful Faces of Evil, that documentary I made on the Proverbs 5 woman, and they were just telling me how they liked it, and they were giving me some examples on how they've gone through similar things, and I was like, brother, like I'm glad you liked it, I'm glad you made that purchase. I said, but to be honest, I made that for me. Like man, I understood understood that there was a lot of negative energy that I was holding on that was associated to people of my women in my past, right? But what I also understood was that, man, I had some trauma associated with my father, man. You know, my father died at a young age, and there was a lot of trauma associated with that, man, that I hadn't really identified. I was coping with it on the back burner, but I hadn't called it what it was and dealt with it, man. So man, when I made that thing, that was my healing process. I'm telling you, man, when I made that and released that, brother, I'm telling you, my life just changed instantly. I had no idea that just by me being, you know, by me still accepting to be a victim of a certain thing or certain situations, that it was holding me back from finding my peace. So man, I'm telling you, we have to forgive. I don't care if it's a parent, I don't care if it's a cousin, sister, I don't care if it's a preacher, teacher, a relationship, whatever somebody did to you, man, call it what it is, release it, and just move forward. Now this third step, you know, when it comes to, you know, finding your true peace, is you simply have to, you know, you simply have to learn how to both create and receive. You know what I'm saying? You have to create a new version of you. A lot of times people will stay in their current conditions. And when I say current conditions, I mean still being a victim to women ain't this, or still being a victim to all men are this, still being a victim to childhood trauma. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times the reason why people can't come out of that is because they can't create a new version of themselves. So if you aren't creating something new for your energy to go to, it can only continue to swim where it is, man. You know, a lot of times I talk to people, and we'll be talking about manifestation, prosperity, abundance, all that stuff. And the first thing I'll say, okay, well, first thing we need to identify is, like, what does that look like? Like, everybody wants peace, happiness, you know, abundance. But what does that look like to you? And most people will be like, you know, I want to get more money. It's like, brother, if you don't know, if you haven't clearly defined your new truth, if you haven't clearly defined, you know who you are, then man, it's going to be hard to almost impossible to come out of that old version of yourself. A lot of people know they want peace and happiness, but they haven't identified what it looks like. So the first thing you have to do is identify what that world looks like. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to be in a certain environment? Do you want to be around certain type people? Whatever your peace is, you have to know what it is if you want to accomplish it. But then the second part of that is receiving it. This is one of the hard parts. Because when it's time to receive this new you, because it's coming to see you, when it's time to receive this new you, what happens is a lot of people have stepped into this new version of themselves, but that old self is still calling. That old self inside of you is still, even if you get to the point where you say, you know what, I'm no longer going to go to these places. I'm no longer going to watch these type videos. I'm no longer going to hang around these certain people. Let's say you get rid of all of those things and it's just you in a new version of yourself. There's still going to be, for a short amount of time, there's still going to be a part of you, that lower side of you, that's constantly saying, you know what, you can't have that kind of peace. Like, man, you want to live how? You want to live where? Like, come on, bro. You know you from the hood. But you know you ain't never been on that side of the tracks. You know what I'm saying? You want to date this kind of woman, this kind of man? I'm like, come on, you ain't never had a 10. You know what I'm saying? You want to have this much money in the bank? Our family has always been broke. You've never had over $100 in savings. That voice is going to be in your head. The thing is, man, you have to kill that old version of yourself. You have to kill that old, and the way you do that is just by consistently reminding yourself of the new you. Of the new you. Man, I read my goals every morning, and definitely at the end of before I go to bed. And what I'm looking at, I say, you know what? When I've written down this new me, I'll say, you know what? Okay, I can imagine how my day went, and I'll say, did I live my life like this person? Like if I'm doing X, Y, Z, did my actions today, show were they, did they line up with this type person? I'm telling you, you have to check yourself. You have to learn how to create, and you definitely have to learn how to receive. In a nutshell, brothers, there are 3 takeaways from this video. First, feel comfortable with being a victim. I know it's always preached, don't be a victim, don't be a victim. To heal, just for a moment, swim in that that victimhood, if that's a word. You know what I'm saying? Go and associate yourself with the people that have been traumatized in this way, this way, shape, or form, right? You know, watch the YouTube videos, vent to brothers that have gone through it, man. This is part of the healing process. It's part of it, man. Submerge yourself in this guilt associated. Submerge yourself in this victimhood. But after that, you have to come out of it. The second step is you have to forgive. You have to release. I'm telling you, you can't get to that true place of peace until you've forgiven those from the past. And I'm telling you this because I tried it. You know, I've tried to bring, you know, all these material things and homes and cars and things into my life. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But I found out that I was trying to do that to fill a void. You know, I've tried to have relationship, you know, with women after women, because I said, you know what, ain't that I'm trying to get in a relationship. It's because I'm trying to fill a void. And I'm telling you, once I feel that void, I slowly start saying, well, why don't I like the material things as much? I'm still trying to strive and I want to achieve things. But it's like, that's not so much important. When I think about women, I said, man, I still love beautiful, fine, sexy women. I still love companionship. I still love a woman with a brilliant mind. But it's like, now that my cup has been filled, it's like, that's so secondary. But see, when I'm talking about being healed, I'm not saying get healed for the reason so that now you can move forward in a relationship, or now that you can move forward in accumulating these things. I'm saying be healed so you can get to the point where you no longer need them. And then when you bring these things and people in your life, it's only to complement the person you are. So I'm saying healing, guys, is crucial. It's critical. And we don't talk about it enough, to be honest. And the third step is just simply create your life, you know, learn how to receive it, and then just sit back and feel that peace and prosperity.